A 110 scale, ready to run two-wheel drive electric desert buggy. Do you need one in your RC life? That's what we're gonna figure out today, guys. On the workbench, we have Team Associated's new Pro 2 DK10SW, and it's a pretty unique looking RC vehicle. We're gonna go over its details. We're gonna take it out for a run, but first, let's get it out of the box. You are gonna need a few things to get this thing up and running, such as batteries and a charger, but it does include the radio system. Now we can take a look at the desert buggy itself. And this is based on Team Associated's trucks that have won world championships. So there's a lot of good design behind this, but let's start off with the body. I know there's a lot of people talking about this since it's been released already. It's very rounded. I've seen real desert buggies like this, so I know what they were going for. I don't think the paint job helped out, just the way the colors fall on this. But you know what, guys? I gotta give Team Associated credit for at least trying to give us something different. I don't think we should harp on them too much. They were trying here. Overall, it's pretty interesting. I do like the way it's cut out, though, the way they've got the reliefs, and they actually have these additional plates screwed on each side. So there's something to this body set. The rear of it just kind of drops off. They got the small window in the back, and I wish they just centered the headlight decals a little bit better, but it's gonna get the job done. And if you're into desert buggies, I'm guessing you probably like it. But let's move right on to the good stuff. Skid bumper up front. These are the taller shock towers that they use on their truck. So that means this thing's got long travel suspension on it. And I like that it has aluminum bodies on the oil-filled shocks. A nice plush feel to it. And then the arms look more like a buggy arm to me. But I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, I think they bulked up their arms a little bit. I might be wrong again, but I do like the look of the arms. They feel nice and solid. They got a really heavy duty caster block, and I like the steering knuckle setup. It's what they use on their newer racing vehicles. It's got a steel hex, a 12mm hex for the wheel, ball bearings to support that axle, and then they have adjustable turnbuckles with the heavy duty rod ends on it. So it's not a nice built up front end. Adjustable body mounts in the front, and then in the rear, similar looking shocks, just a little bit longer in length, oil filled, the really solid looking H-arms and adjustable turnbuckles, heavy duty looking shock tower. And now let's move on to the chassis, which is a low CG chassis, and since it's a short wheelbase, it's a buggy length basically. So I'm guessing this setup is going to be nice and responsive, but I like how they went and moved to a Velcro strap setup for the battery instead of just that plastic strap down the center like they had on some of the previous vehicles. This allows you to use a 2S or 3S LiPo battery, and this chassis is pretty rigid. And then they have the bell crank steering, and I noticed that they have ball bearings in it, which is really cool. Also mounted to the chassis is a receiver box, which is sealed. And let's go right into the transmission. It's got their heavy duty gear differential, a slipper clutch, CV axles out to the wheels, full ball bearings inside. The outdrives are metal, so it's a really good setup. We've seen this from Team Associated before, even an aluminum motor plate, gear cover. Finally, let's hit the electronics. It does have a high torque metal geared standard servo, the Reedy S600BL brushless motor speed controller with cooling fan on top, and then a 3300 kV brushless motor. It's really cool that they have a brushless system in here, but what I like even better is it has their DVC receiver in it, which has a gyro. So what's gonna happen is when you get this thing sideways, that gyro is gonna kick in a little bit, counter steer for you, and just help improve your driving experience. And it is adjustable, so if you want to get that full driving feel, you can go and adjust that receiver setup. So this buggy really has my interest, and I need to go drive it. Let's go hit the dirt. Obviously, guys, we need to speed test it. So I've got a 2S pack in there. We'll get the GNSS set up. Start. Here we go. You can see that gyro making the thing wiggle around. It looks kind of funny. All right, let's see what we got. Stop, read, 22 miles an hour. Now we're gonna do a 3S pack. 3S pack is in there. Let's just see what we get for top speed. Start on the GNSS, and we'll send it down. Whoa, now we got some more power. Ready? Let's do this. There we go, that's better. It's actually not wiggling. Really controllable on 3S. Woo! Stop, read, 35, that's pretty good. All right, guys, I just had to stick around the parking lot here to run this thing on 3S, and it is wicked on asphalt. I love the body roll. That is so cool. The counter steering. This thing looks awesome. I think I'm having more fun with this on asphalt. You know, I wasn't a fan of this thing on 3S on dirt, but here, it's pretty wicked. Yeah. So my overall impression of the DK10 is it's good. What it has going for it is it's not another short course truck. And if you did want to turn it into a short course truck, you could easily do that with an LT10 body. But in the dirt, I had a lot of fun on 2S. On 3S, it just did a lot of donuts, even with the gyro really working. I think on a loamy or damper dirt surface, it would be a lot of fun on 3S, but it just wasn't happening in that loose dirt where I was driving. Where I actually had a lot of fun with it was on the asphalt, just watching the body lean in the corners. The gyro was working there, and it did roll over a few times, but it was a lot of fun just ripping it back and forth on the asphalt. Did run into two issues with it, kind of minor. One of them was I kept getting rocks stuck in the gears. So you probably heard a little whining while I was driving it around for the action portion. And the other issue was when I was driving around on the asphalt, doing those hard turns, one time rolled it over and it actually pulled the dog bone out. I guess it just pulled the arm down, the dog bone fell out, so that was a pretty easy fix. Both of them were pretty easy fixes, just minor annoyances. It's a fun offering from Team Associates, got some good stuff going for it, like the aluminum shocks, the adjustable turnbuckles, the heavy duty transmission, the really rigid chassis, but it's priced at about 350 bucks and it's up against some tough competition. But Team Associated, they make some good products and they have their own aftermarket support for it. The optional aftermarket support is probably a little light for this truck, which reminds me, I'll have links for it in the video description below, but overall, it was a lot of fun driving this buggy. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below.